Today we're at a typical 4-story condo down here in Florida. We're going to discuss some basic fire tactics that need to be used at these type of structures. Now, what you're going to see is typical 4-story condo. Basically 2 stairwells, one on each side of the building, and normally an elevator shaft running in the middle of the building. Normally the meter rooms are to the back of these structures or by the elevator. Now if we have a fire in the 4th story, on the 4th floor, the biggest hazard with that is fire getting into the cock loft area, because most of these condos down here in Florida built within the 60s and 70s, they're all common attic spaces. So once fire gets into that area, it's going to travel throughout the length of the building, destroying the entire roof and the building. If you have fire involving 1 or 2 apartments, most likely you're going to have to write off those 2 apartments and start from the edge of the structure, working your way in from unburnt to burnt area, searching for the fire within the cock loft attic area. Now getting hose up there is not that difficult. We carry 200 feet of 1 3/4 hose, and it's easiest if it fires up on the 4th floor. Instead of hauling all the hose up the stairs, just throw your length of rope that you should be carrying with you down, tie it to the pre-connect, pull the pre-connect up, and once it's up, we'll charge it from there. If fire is on the 2nd, 3rd floor, 1st floor, we have to always remember, search the floor above it, because that's how heat and smoke travel, and then search all the way up to the top floor. So you have your fire floor, floor above it, and then the top floor. The problem with these type of buildings is that there's many areas for fire to travel. There's plumbing, cable work, and they've all made holes within these structures. These structures are like Swiss cheese. There's just holes everywhere for fire and smoke to travel. That's the dangers of these type of structures. So anytime you have even a small insignificant fire, say a stove fire, a fire that has gotten to the cabinetry, you're going to have to search the apartments above it and the top floor, because there's many areas for fire to travel. Parking is a problem in these type of structures. Due to the fact there's so many cars in the parking lot, it's difficult for our apparatus to find parking. It's difficult to get your hydrant connections and your hose without blocking people in or people running over your hose. There's no standpipe or sprinkler systems in most of these buildings built in the 60s and 70s. And in the attic spaces, a lot of the insulation is the shredded up newspaper with fire retardant that they used back in the day, but now has dried out in this Florida high heat. And once fire gets in that insulation, it's going to travel through that whole cock loft, through that whole roof area. Forcible entry is not really a big problem. Basic types of lock structures. And if we can see from this view here of these condos, let's get it zoom in. Is that most of these condos are on water. The rear of the building's on water. So the problem with that is you only have a few. Number one problem is you can't get any units to the back of the structure. You can't raise an aerial or a platform on the back of the structure. And so to do a vent enter search is very difficult. That's why it's very important right away in any type of fire, a single-story residential or a multi-story condo, is to get somebody to do a 360 right away. Now they all have porches on the back of these condos, so there is an entryway to get into the rear of the structures. But again, it's going to be a very time-consuming operation. Another problem with most of these condos is that their clubhouses that most of them have are, for the most part, very poorly built. I see many clubhouses down